Come on, dice rolls, don't fail me now. What? A natural one? Hello, and welcome back, adventurers and illustrators. Let's get this illustration on the way. And before anyone says anything, I know I'm a few weeks off from Inktober. I was keeping up with the drawings, but time was not on my side when it came to the videos. So there, that's out of the way. Plus, these illustrations should be available on Patreon by now. Alright, my peeps, I'm not gonna lie. Week 3 was a little difficult for me. The group of words gave me a little bit of a hard time. And as I hope you'd seen in the intro, there were quite a bit of sketches that looked completely different from each other. The one thing I was able to zero in on were the words misfit, treasure, and legend. So in my campaign that I'm running, there is a group of bandits called the Cuckoo's Nest. My players are recently negotiating, working for anything they can do to not die by them. It all boils down to my players are helping them right now. So these words are very special to the Cuckoo's Nest because the group leaders are made up of a interesting family. The father, who is a drow named Argus. He fled his underworld life to be on the surface. And the mother, Lady, who fled her rich family life because of abuse. So that's where the misfit comes from. The two of them are runaways and they get together. And all of this that I'm telling you guys, my players already know, so no spoilers for them. That's a plus. Anyways, the two are eventually hunted down by their families. And in their attempts to escape and hide from them, Argus and Lady meet a hag who makes a deal with them that she would keep their families at bay for a price that she would name later. Well, at the time, the two figured they had nothing to lose and they agreed to it. And years went by and Lady eventually became pregnant. And during her pregnancy, they were visited by the hag, who classically asked for their unborn child. Of course, the two didn't like this idea, and now they were running away and trying to hide from the hag herself. And during their running away, they managed to take in other kinds of misfits who really looked up to Argus and Lady. They became a really close family and named themselves the Cuckoo's Nest. Why the Cuckoo's Nest? Well, because Lady also had this giant rooster as her mount. And it kind of became like the iconic mascot for the group. They eventually find a place deep in the woods where they feel that they were safe enough. But the hag finds them anyways and curses them. And with this curse, the bandits became bound to the land, as it quickly died around them. Now they were forced to constantly steal from travelers at the nearest road they can access, because the curse would draw them back to that land every day. They could travel, but they always had this itching instinct that they couldn't ignore, that they always had to go back. And she had left behind a couple of minions to take the child when they weren't looking. So it kind of became this routine amongst the entire Cuckoo's Nest that someone always has to be with the child, with this little girl Rita. Once Rita was born, it was obvious to everyone why the hag really wanted this kid, and it was because she was born incredibly pale, ghost pale, if you will. And in my world, a character born ghost pale tends to become a sort of oracle. They can tell the future, or at least predict it. So she became the little treasure of this bandit family. Now flash forward a couple years with my players, and they were jumped by all these bandits, well, a group of these bandits, on the road, and they were going to be left without equipment. But Lady, who was leading this little group, had noticed something very particular or peculiar about the group, and actually had them all tied up and kidnapped, taken to camp, where they were kind of debriefed on everything, and then finally revealed that the little girl had specific toys or specific dolls that she had asked her mama to make her that looked like all of the players' characters. So the bandits are pretty sure that these players are the ones who are here to break the curse. So now the players are trying to fulfill the prophecy or the legend told by this little girl through playtime of all the monsters they're going to vanquish and free them of their curse. My players have already killed 4 out of 5 monsters that the little girl has told them about. So in this illustration, you see the little girl playing with the big one that's coming up. Also, the one that she has up in the air is one of my players, the Tabaxi Sorcerer, and according to little Rita, he's gonna catch on fire. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited for this. I hope my players are too. I know my Tabaxi's a little concerned, but I believe they can manage it. The illustration's nearly complete. I just need to shade in with a colored pencil before I go over with a pen, because the pen on its own was too light. Very similar to that blue I tried using for Kava's drawing in the previous video. I had to use a colored pencil first. As I finish up, why don't you guys tell me in the comments below, how many times your party has been kidnapped, if at all, and what sort of shenanigans ensued. I'd love to hear 'em. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to help support the channel, then consider Patreon, where you can get rewards like your name in the credits, downloads of my illustrations, and a bunch of other little things. I'll leave a link in the description, and until next time, adventurers, illustrators, and coffee lovers, stay cozy!